So in Sochi, they had this conference that they had since 2004.
Wait,
it's called
isn't this the
Valdai.
propaganda outlet, RT?
RT, it's
Hold on,
propaganda.
is this propaganda? I don't know if I should see this.
Russia is not looking for more territory, Putin says. The president stressed that the Ukraine conflict is not about expansion, because I had to bring this to the table because
The old explanation was that.
yes,
But you're behind Putin. This is so we can show China that we're not afraid. we're beyond this nonsense story.
so this is that's the pivot right now.
Yeah.
Now it's no longer about territory because I mean there's friends of ours, right, that we know.
That are going to parrot
Yes.
they're going to forget the thing they just said to me. Well, then Putin will take over Finland and whatever.
Yes. If
Now
we
they're
don't
going-
stop him, they're going to. Well, that's what they used to say. He's going to try to expand the old Soviet Union. But Putin has talked about it, right? And this is it right here. The conflict with Ukraine is not driven by territorial ambitions. Russian President Vladimir Putin insisted in a speech at the Valdai International Discussion Club on Thursday. Now, I want to point something out. This conference has been going on since 2004. So it's been going on. It's a international financial think tank. So it was way before, before Putin was in power and everything else. Putin stressed that Russia is already the largest country in the world and therefore is not motivated by seeking new lands. It's the largest country and it doesn't have too many people occupying. It's not like China. So why would they need more territory? And that's what people don't understand, Kurt.
He's a madman.
He's a madman.
Here, let me be an
He wants to bring back the old Soviet Union.
Yeah, let me Sitch and Adam you right now. I can't stop taking shots at my friend Sitch and Adam because of how hilarious these pivots are and how bad it's going.
Yeah.
The war that they really wanted to talk about, and also insisted this nonsense that he wants to rebuild the glory of, actually, I think they said something stupider.
That's CIA talking points, by the way. The
Yeah, but
glory
those are
of the Soviet
But the
Union.
CIA are diverse good guys.
Yeah.
So you see the difference, Pazda?
Yeah.
They're diverse, and America's a force for good in the world. You see it all around.
Yes.
Just take a walk through history of the world, and you'll see the force of good that America has been.
So the whole thing is when that person, our friend, he's a friend of ours, who said that to me, you know what I'm saying? And he's not too much in the political echo chamber. I said, do you know what happened in 2014? Had no clue what happened in 2014. Had no clue that we infiltrated their government. Had no clue that that was a puppet government. Had no clue who Victoria Nuland and Jeffrey Pyatt were. Have no clue that McCain and Lindsey Graham were going there on the Maidan, pushing for this revolution. Had no clue whatsoever who the Azov battalion was.
He didn't research for 6 hours to clear the good name of Victoria.
6 hours? You could do that in 3, bro.
I'm going to be honest. I don't think Sitch did research it for 6 hours. I think he was just saying that to me. I think Adam was just saying it to me.
Well, here's the thing, Kurt.
6 hours? You didn't come across anything?
Not only is it not true because the CIA said it, it's because the Russian Federation, including Vladimir Putin, didn't even want the Donbass. You know why? Because they don't want extra territory. Because you got to manage that territory. You got to deal with those people. It's a big headache. That's why they kind of pulled back with the Soviet Union. They realized it was too much territory that they got to manage and control.
When I first heard the story of he doesn't want us putting weapon systems on their border, much like we didn't want in the Cuban Missile Crisis, I had no problem. It sounded real. Obviously, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then people go, no, that's not what. So you think it doesn't bother them at all if you put missiles up and you buy a
We flipped out when they put missiles in Cuba, right? And the only reason why they put missiles in Cuba.
But Putin's lying. But you don't think that is a problem?
It's a huge problem.
No, we have to do that because he's a liar. But aren't you a liar? But we're the lesser of two evils.
So let me go to the next part. He noted that Russia still has a lot of work to do in developing the remote Siberian and Far Eastern regions. And he goes, we got work in our own country to do. Why do I want more territory? This is not a territorial conflict. And it's not even the establishment of a regional geopolitical balance, the president said.
This madman wants to do stuff with his own territory
first
before he goes out for new territory. We got to stop him.
So it says the question is much broader and more fundamental. We are talking about the principles of the New World Order. The Russian leader insisted that the lasting peace can only be established when everyone feels safe and knows their opinion is respected. When he says feel safe, Kurt, it's when they don't have missiles on their border, when they don't have Nazis on their border. Elsewhere in the speech, Putin said that Russia was not the one who initiated the conflict in Ukraine, but is instead trying to put an end to it.
I would like to ask people, who's more evil to you, Dick Cheney or Vladimir Putin? And I'm genuinely curious because I promise you the body count on Putin is way lower.
Beyond.
I mean, actually, lower than Obama's body count if we're going to get technical about it. lower than Obama's torturing journalist count.
Dude, the United States kills more every year with their bombs than Vladimir Putin has killed in 10 lifetimes, and that's just a fact. That's just a fact. They have 800 and something odd bases around the world, getting close to 1,000 now. CIA dark sites where they torture people, right? Working for the fascist global corporations so they can go into these countries, extract their resources. It's all owned by these groups of people.
Yeah.
Please.
By the way, I don't support Putin either. I don't give a shit about Putin. I don't understand why I'm supposed to care about him like he's Thanos.
Yeah. Well, I made that tweet before. His name is Vladimir Putin. It's not Thanos. Check out this point over here, too, as well. This is a great video, too, as well, because it's talking about your Nazis, and he's talking about the fact that the speaker didn't know this shit is stupid. He's hilarious. He's either an idiot or I don't know what he is.
Мы относимся к Канаде, несмотря ни на что, с уважением, особенно к людям. Но если он не знает, что во время войны против России сражался Гитлер и его приспешники, то он идиот. Он, значит, просто в школе не учился. Не имеет элементарных знаний. А если он знает, что этот человек сражался на стороне Гитлера, и называет его героем Украины и героем Канады, то он негодяй. Или так, или так.
That's what AOC should have said.
Yes.
He said the thing AOC should have said. He's either a moron or he's a villain.
Yeah. So there's been also a lot of talk. So that was the whole Nazi situation. And Putin took questions right now. He pushed back. That's why, the propaganda newspaper that we put out there, it was just his words out there. He was saying that you can make your own decision. But there's also this talk about Putin is working for the WEF, right? And he's just about kind of bringing them into the fold. Misha knows this stuff. She knows a lot about the WEF. That Putin he gave one of the opening speeches at the World Economic Forum years ago, but since then he's been removed from the website. He hasn't attended.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who are trying to have this debate whether he's still part of that World Economic Forum or he's said, you know what, peace, I'm not going along with your plans anymore.
Do you think they are with him? Because why would they be pushing this Ukraine war if they're with him?
I don't. There's theories on why he would do that.
Is this one of these ones where it's like too much unwinding a conspiracy beyond what the conspiracy would be? Is this another one like, but that's just a reverse double switcheroony?
Yeah, it is one of those things where when people still have a position they believe in, they'll twist their mind, they'll do the mental gymnastics to get to the point. No, Putin's part of the whole master plan. That's why it's all about BRICS and whatnot. He's part of the whole master plan. But here we go right here. Look at this one. Vladimir Putin has stated globalists, including Klaus Schwab and his close advisors, are legitimate military targets because they have been actively attempting to seize power illegally via a globalist code.
If he actually legitimately targets Klaus Schwab and blows up Klaus Schwab, the WF, I'm going to switch from not giving a shit to liking Putin. I'll say that right now.
Yeah.
I will. I don't want to be all Trump of like, hey, Russia, hack her emails, because that was a crime. But hey, Russia, blow up Klaus Schwab. I'll go ahead and say
it's interesting. It's food for thought. We have to see what's going on. Now, listen, the last part of this I wanted to bring up, I was speaking to Don DeBar about this earlier. He was giving me some insight. It says it's very important to bring it up because a lot of people talk about the fact is that the United States wants to make sure they put a wedge in between Germany and Russia. But there's a France element to this. Back in the days, France was trying after World War II to get away from NATO and make their own alliance with Russia because they wanted their own independent alliance from Russia. They didn't want to be told what to do. Now take a look.
If we didn't come, they'd be speaking German or Russian? Which one?
German. If the Russians didn't come in, they'd be speaking German.
They'd be bilingual.
Yeah. So let's take a look. I'm going to show you a little relationship back in the days where Russia and France were working out an agreement amongst each other without NATO's presence.
The arrival in wintry Moscow of the head of the French Provisional Government, General Charles de Gaulle. Welcomed by Soviet Foreign Commissar Molotov, he comes to conclude a 20-year military alliance between liberated France and Russia. The leader of French anti-Nazi patriotism is received by the Soviet government with military honors, and a diplomatic headline is made. The Franco-Russian Treaty is an important development in the relations between the allies.
The anti-fascist, anti-Hitler regime. This is with Khrushchev.
The wide-ranging travels of Nikita Khrushchev bring Mr. K at last to Paris, where he, Mrs. K, and his party receive a full-dress welcome from President de Gaulle.
1960.
This is when Khrushchev meets the Three Stooges.
The 11-day state visit will include pre-summit talks between the two leaders, whose differences in personality and philosophy seem reflected in their contrasting appearance as they cross the field for the welcoming ceremonies. Security precautions as heavy as any in recent history were clamped down weeks in advance of Khrushchev's arrival. The first Russian government chief to visit France since Tsar Nicholas in 1896, his visit tokens flattering acceptance of France as a full-fledged great power, in itself a victory of General de Gaulle. Khrushchev mixed flattery of France with warnings against German militarism in public speeches, but de Gaulle rebuffed his attempts to drive a wedge in current Franco-West German good feeling. Said de Gaulle, Germany's former ambition without limits is a thing of the past. Ahead for the two statesmen lie many more skirmishes and encounters, all for the most part set against the public observances and ceremonials that have become a modern tradition. An essential part of Khrushchev's visit to Paris is the procession to the Arc de Triomphe, where he pays tribute at the eternal flame to the unknown soldier of France. A stirring memorial and reminder to the men who sway nations' destinies of the grief and horror of past wars.
Wow, just think, right that same moment, Canada was building monuments to the Waffen-SS.
The Waffen-SS, right? So at the Valdai conference, de Gaulle's grandson, part of this one group, stood up and spoke, wanting to bring a lot of, they say we live in the United States of amnesia. We forget the things of the past that happened. They want to rewrite history and want to make sure that there's a wedge between France and Russia as well. But this guy brought back a little bit of history. Take a look at this. This is de Gaulle's grandson at the conference there, also pointing out what was going on in Ukraine for quite some time. Remember when they showed de Gaulle, and it said the anti-fascist? It was very important that they push back against the fascists all across the board.
Mr. Gaulle.
There he is, the grandson.
Mr. President, I am Pierre de Gaulle. I am the chairman of MIR France and Francophonia, and I am a true friend of your country, as my family is. I'm fighting for the Franco-Russian friendship, and you've got more and more people in France and in Europe who have the same belief and the same willingness. As you know, the friendship and the partnership between France and Russia was one of the pillars of my grandfather's policy. And I want to rebuild and I want to restore the France of my grandfather, a France made of fundamental values like faith, like patriotism, like family, and like a true, let's say, spiritual responsibility which has completely gone in the Occidental world. I believe that those fundamental values are essential to build peace and comprehension amongst people. And because of this, I think that the conflict in Ukraine is an ideological conflict, that it is even a conflict of civilization, because on one side, you've got the Occidental world, which has lost its soul, which has lost everything for ego, for short-term satisfaction, pleasure, and a short-term view on everything. The sacred has gone, and history has shown that those civilizations cannot survive. On the other side, you've got the multipolar world led by Russia, led by China, India, African countries, Arabic countries, and South American countries. Those people, those nations are willing to fight for their own traditional values and their fundamental values. So to me, Mr. President, this conflict is ideological, and that's why I think that it will last and expand. What is your view on this?
What do you think about that so far, Kurt? That's pretty freaking awesome, right? He also says there's a big following in France that's understanding this old alliance that's there, And, I think this is big right here. This is going to kind of expose what's going on in France, and a lot of pressure on France for France to pull out, for Macron to get away from, because he's been pro-war from the get-go. This is a big bomb, right? I love this right here. This is this is a golden nugget that came out of this conference right here. This is exposing the fact that France used to have a history of making sure they were pushing back against fascism, especially in the Ukraine.
Well, didn't they get invaded by the goddamn Nazis?
They did.
Okay, because it's not a surprise
They
to me.
did.
Look, I don't know how. I guess if it gets, it's on Sky News, so I guess I'm always like, how far is this going to penetrate into the big dumb thick skin of like my friends I grew up with, and they know that Nazi thing in Canada. They saw that, and it's a big so that penetrates through the like. I think people don't even like, as much as an effort to erase it, like try to rewrite history from 2016 when Trump got elected and forget all history that happened before that. What the top down people don't get is all these other people don't really know history to begin with. Yeah. Beyond a few simple points. And I was aware France was not on the side of Germany, and like I told you my girlfriend went to Florida public schools,
and she
understood Russia fought with us. Yeah. So I mean, I guess it's good. I don't know who it's good for. Maybe it's good for like the well, I think it's good for
the international community is going to understand more about this too, as well as about the wedge that's driven in there. And first of all, I just want to know your opinions as far as they don't know history, but look at the history that's taught in the schools. It's empire education. It's the history they want us to know.
And that history is different than the thing they're trying to push now.
Yes.
That like
it's even worse. Yeah. Well,
like they're not even.
Imagine how it's going to be going forward, Kurt.
Dude, they're trying to go back and then like diversify the cast of history.
Yes, they're trying to change it.
Stuff, yeah.
And even Putin saying, if they didn't know this, they're a friggin' idiot. Let's just finish up this last bit.
First of all, I'd like to say that it's a great honor to accept a grandson of General de Gaulle.
And they're plotting?
With the acting president, we touched upon several subjects, and I'd like to maybe bring that up here. It's not a secret. I'm not going to give any historical evaluations. Everything was very complicated, but for us in Russia, despite the difference in rank, the hero is the General de Gaulle and not Marshal Pétain, because he embodied the desire for the nation, for independence and honor and pride. Yes, now the situation is different. The head of, there's other people who are leaders of France, and it's not even a matter of age, it's just a matter of historical view, and this is not our business to evaluate the government of your country. This is up to the French people to do that. But I know that people who subscribe to your points of view and true friends of Russia, I know that there are many of you in France, and I know that the number of such friends grows. Whether the situation is going to get worse in terms of what's going on in the world, as you said, there's an ideological confrontation. It's never going to end. This is obvious. There's different currents. Whatever incarnation they take, they will always fight against each other. That's just obvious. But in my opinion, that awareness of eternal value of national tradition and culture, I think slowly it will gain pace. It will both in European countries and in the US. And in that sense, I think that confrontation, ideological confrontation, will continue. But the future lies with nationally oriented forces. And the balance between them has to be achieved, as I said in my presentation, through looking for compromises between civilizations.
I thought that was just like a golden nugget when I saw that there. When Don sent me this, is like, you got to check this out. I was like, holy cow. Like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't realize there was that uprising of sorts and that acknowledgement, that education. Yeah.
Wasn't France already kind of, even Macron getting sick of us? You know, this was before the Niger thing where he was like, this isn't such a good deal for us.
You know, there was at times when he had so much public pushback and things were going crazy in his own country where he was waving all over the place. But the money and the weapons and the aid hasn't stopped from France. They're still part of the coalition and they need to stop. And this, like I said, just him bringing this up over here and Putin saying the education part, people understanding, people knowing that, that's what's most important right here. And he's glad to find that bridge there. I didn't know a lot about this. I didn't understand the old school bond and ties they had between France and Russia after World War II. And to see that Khrushchev going over there, you know, Godal going over to Russia, and understanding that's going on, and then seeing the grandson, I just thought that was a nice little golden nugget.
Do you think they will teach that here in American schools in between, I don't know, butt plug class or whatever they do now?
No, but we can teach it here at the Jimmy Dore Show so people know that what's going on over here, that this cookie's going to start crumbling. It's going to start falling down. London Bridge is about to fall. And I don't know how much longer we can hold on to it over here.
I don't know how it didn't fall after Iraq and Afghanistan, how anybody could be that
because we live in the United States of amnesia, man.
Yeah, but they go, Putin's crazy. Like, oh, what crimes did he do? Just name a couple that we didn't do about 1,000 times worse, and then
he jails journalists in his own country. Okay, look at Navalny.
Check.
We do the same thing. Julian Assange, everybody.
Julian Assange.
He wants to bring back the old Soviet Union. He has aspirations of that. He kills his rivals. But
not communist. Right?
I don't know.
Like he wants the old Soviet Union, but it's not going to be communist, right?
No.
Then what do I care?
Okay.
I don't understand how anybody could. I think you're supposed to focus on nothing but personalities.
Yeah.
Like that thing upset me, Brianna talking about, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's a bad. I don't care what she is.
Yeah.
She's saying the right. We got to do this
thing right now. Yeah.
Everything is to make you a cult of person. Everything is like, find a Jim Jones and go down with him.
Hey, come see us on tour. We're going to be in Tampa, Boca Raton, Orlando, Dallas, Houston, San Diego, Bloomington, Illinois, Indianapolis, and Levittown, New York. Wow, that's a lot of dates. See you there.